Hello everyone! It is Tuesday, and that means there's not a gameplay video today, instead it's a vlog. And I've been kind of watching Tom Scott's The Language Files on YouTube. We'll link in the description if you want to watch those. And they got me thinking kind of about different dialects and stuff, and I've always liked different dialects. A lot of people from the Pacific Northwest kind of say, we don't have an accent. Like, that's just not true. Everyone has an accent. I don't know why I'm saying that with a bit of an accent. You just don't hear your own accent. So, I decided to do the accent challenge. And since it's Pacific Northwest, I am wearing my It Came From Portland shirt that has a crack in destroying the Hawthorne Bridge in Portland. This is like my second favorite shirt. My first favorite is a mechanical beaver fighting a three-headed duck at Union Station, which I'll talk about later. So, for the accent challenge, there are the words that I have to pronounce. Ant, roof, route, wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, sure, data. I say it data, but it's Mr. Data from Star Trek. So, ruin, cram, New Orleans. New Orleans is one of those that I used to pronounce it New Orleans, but I've heard more people from there call it New Orleans. And living in a place like Oregon, where when people mispronounce that, it deeply offends me. Ever since I learned that, I try to pronounce other places as they pronounce them, so I pronounce it New Orleans. Pecan. Both. Again. Probably. Alabama. Lawyer. Coupon. Mayonnaise. Okay, this next one. When I think about it too much, I forget how I say it. It's either syrup or syrup. Syrup or syrup. Maple syrup. Maple syrup. Maple syrup, maple syrup. Pass me the syrup. I think it's syrup. But it could be syrup. Pretty sure it's syrup. Pajamas. Cot. Naturally. Aluminum. This is one that I pronounce it aluminum. However, when I look at the word, I realize it should be aluminium. But no, it's aluminum. Envelope. Alright, and now we're on to the questions. What is it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? That is TPing someone. What is the bug that when you touch it, it curls into a ball? That is a pill bug. What is the bubbly carbonated drink called? That is soda. However, when I look at maps of the states for like dialects, when it comes to soda versus pop, they say Oregon is a pop state, and majority of people say pop. However, I've met like 2 or 3 people that call it pop. Everyone else calls it soda. It's soda. What do you call gym shoes? I call them tennis shoes. When I write them, I write tennis shoes, but when I'm talking about the shoes, I do not pronounce the S on tennis. They're tenna shoes. That might just be me, though. What do you say to address a group of people? I generally say, hey guys. What do you call the kind of spider or spider-like creature that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? That is a daddy long leg. What do you call your grandparents? Grandma, Grandpa, Grandma Molly, and Papa Daddy. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarket? That is a cart. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining? Okay. When I ask this question to friends and family, they always say it's a sun shower. However, when we have a sun shower, no one calls it that. They say, oh, it's weird, or oh, it's Oregon. Like, it happens a lot, so you would think we'd have a name for it. And sun shower makes sense. However, when we have it, no one calls it that. We only have that word to answer this question. So I don't count that as a word in our dictionary. What is the thing you change the TV channel with? That is a remote. However, I will sometimes call it a clicker. What do you generally call confectionery? I call it candy. What do you call the flimsy open-toed shoe sandals you wear on a hot day or to the beach? Those are flip-flops. However, one time my mom called them thongs, and my sister and I just got embarrassed and ran away. Is there a nickname often given to McDonald's fast food restaurants? Mickey D's. However, I don't really know anyone that goes to Mickey D's, so we just don't go bother. We also have nicknames for other things, such as there's this local superstore where it used to be only in Oregon, but it's now in Washington and it's probably in a few other surrounding states because they got bought out by Kroger. But it's Fred Meyer's. We call it Freddy's. And I've noticed that also we misspell Freddy's. For it's Fred Meyer, then you're kind of calling him by his nickname Fred or Freddy. And then it's his place, so it's Freddy's. So it should be FREDDY''S. But no, that's not how we spell it. Everyone spells it FREDDIES, as in the plural of Fred. Freddy's. I mean, the plural of Freddy. The plural of Freddy would be Freddy's. So we kind of like pluralize it as opposed to personifying it. Some other things that I've noticed in my particular accent or dialect. When it's actually a nice day, like now it's a nice day and like bluish skies and all that. We don't really say it's a nice day or it's a clear day. We say the mountain is out. Because when you're driving down TV Highway, you can get a nice, perfect view of Mount Hood. And, like, I've heard a fair number of people say this. But also, apparently, people in Seattle say this as well. Just in reference to Mount Rainier, as opposed to Mount Hood. At the sink, where the water comes out, we call it a faucet. However, the water that comes out of it is tap water. So I think we should call it a tap. But no, this is tapping. Or this is tapping for MTG fans. A tap doesn't make sense for that, because you don't like tap the faucet to turn it on, you turn the thing. But we still call it tap water. Faucet water sounds disgusting. I'm not gonna drink faucet water, I'm gonna drink tap water. I noticed that I learned this from Neopets. But, like, in the UK, there's jam and jelly. And we don't really call jam and jelly the same things. What they call jam, we call either jam or jelly, depending on how much fruit is in it. And then what they call jelly, we call jello. Do you remember Neopets going to Jelly World and getting a free slice of jelly every day to feed your Neopets? I would do that in the omelet, and you can feed them free really easily. This one is pretty much just an Oregon thing, I'm sure. Not like a Washington thing or Idaho thing. Saying that someone is a bit of a platypus. You would think that sounds a bit more Australian, because that's where the platypi are. In Oregon, we have 2 state schools. As in state universities. We have Oregon State University, which is home of the Beavers. Go Beavs! And we have the University of Oregon, home of the Ducks. So, when the Civil War comes around in college football season and those two face off, it's like you're either a beaver or you're a duck. Or you just don't care and you kind of mix them together. So you say you're a platypus. And then that has sort of gone into other things where you just don't really care one way or the other. Well, bit of a platypus. So kind of speaking more on what I just said about schools. Pretty much all from preschool through getting your doctorate at some far-off university, you're going to school. You're either going to, like, whether it's high school or college, we just call it school. We don't say university as that has too many syllables. We only say university when we're referring to the name of the school. We also say when we move away to go to a college, we say we moved away for school. Because we always know that you mean college, because you don't move away for high school or anything like that. That would be silly. Unless you went to a boarding school. I don't know much about that. I only met like one person who went to a boarding school, so. We don't queue for things, that is true. We line up for things because you make a line. That's a line of people. A queue, when I think of queue, I think more like a cue ball on a pool table. I know it's spelled differently, but that's what I think. We don't really have pubs. We call them all bars. However, we will use the word pub to describe a bar. To us, a pub is sort of like a restaurant that has a lot of beers, or a bar that serves a lot of good food. So you might go there for the food as opposed to just the beer. So we can say, like, it's kind of a pub. Like when I talk about McMinimans, I say it's kind of a pub. But really, it's a restaurant that has really good beer. And good selection of beer. Here's a question for you. What do you call it when you sell stuff, like, on your front lawn or something? I've heard a lot of people call them garage sale, sometimes yard sale. Garage sale is most common here. However, we also advertise it as writing G sale on signs. And apparently doesn't happen a lot. I was taking a human geography class, and that was one of the things that he did not hear anywhere outside of Oregon. G sale. But yeah, it's a G sale. Makes sense. Another thing that from my human geography class that's apparently is like a uniquely Oregon thing is when you are talking about the freeway. For us, the freeway is that long stretch of road. You have to go on like an on-ramp, really high speeds. Really high being like 55 in Oregon. And then there's like no stopping on the freeway. And you just kind of continually go until there's either traffic or you get off. Other places call that a highway or an expressway. I've never heard expressway until a few years ago. And a highway it's a large stretch of road, pretty wide, like probably 4 lanes or something. But there could be stoplights on it. And it's probably not as fast as street speeds. More intersections. I kind of picture more country roads with highways. We measure distance in time. For when we talk about, like, how far away is the store, we don't say, like, oh, it's about a mile away. We say, oh, it's, like, 5 minutes. Because that contextualizes it more. Like, oh, it's a 5-minute drive, or it's a 15-minute walk. It lets you know how much you have to budget time. And I didn't realize that was an Oregon thing. I just thought people talk like that. So that was the accent challenge, along with a few other things that I decided to throw in just to show my Oregonianness. So show this video to your friends. See what they think about accents. What do you say about accents? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you some other time.